flips over backwards to bring as many Somalis, who were obviously North African Muslims predominantly, to places like Minneapolis, St. Paul. Now, I think they're good people that deserve a right to live and work hard. But I'm simply looking at the historical facts here. Why do they take Muslims from some of the most radical countries and seed them all over the nation, and then have the Ford Foundation go in with liberation theology in all of the major universities and teach them that America's bad and you need to take over and it's your right to do it, while simultaneously funding other university programs saying Muslims are pure evil and the devil and we're going to have a clash of civilizations with them. I have no doubt that we couldn't get along with the Muslims and that they are, on average, very moral, cultured people who invented much of the sciences we have today. Unfortunately, in the last really 90 years, the British, then the Germans, and since World War II, the U.S., on record has done everything they can to radicalize Muslims and overthrow mainline competitive governments and put in radicals so that those countries basically stay in the Stone Age. And that's why you see the Prime Minister of England, the President of France coming out and saying multiculturalism has failed, Muslims are dangerous, they're not compatible. Because they're getting ready to destabilize the entire Middle East, as Webster Tarpley and many others broke down here years ago. As 13, 14 years ago, Zbigniew Brzezinski wrote in The Grand Chessboard, another book 2 years ago, and they are igniting radical Islam. They have put dictators in to make radical Islam look legitimate when it overthrows these countries so the West can have a full-scale war with these people, and they're going to initiate low-intensity terror attacks all over the West with patsies and also provocateur, but also purely manufactured, to then use the Muslim threat to attack the globalist real enemy, private property, libertarian-type conservatives, liberals, it doesn't matter, intellectuals, property owners, gun owners. So that's the bait and switch. It's the clash of civilizations, and the globalists want to mop up the Muslims that are a threat to them because they won't accept the globalist system of control, the abortion, the infanticide, the one-child policy, and it'll help them wipe out their other real big enemy, mainline, classical, puritanical, Protestant-type ethic of the West. There you have it. Okay, let's go to Webster Griffin Tarpley, who'll be with us for 20 minutes or so. Appreciate him coming on short notice. They say Mubarak has stepped down, and give us your breakdown on this.
Well, it appears that he has stepped down. That's the announcement from Vice President Suleiman on the official Egyptian television. So until we learn something else, let's assume that's true, although we've been burned a few times. I think what you've got to ask yourself is, what kinds of threats were delivered overnight by the U.S. government to Egypt? I can imagine yesterday evening Obama chewing the carpet in the White House in an absolute fit of rage, threatening to fire Panetta for his bungling incompetence and stupidity, basically wanting to fire the Director of National Intelligence. This is all what I imagine going on. But chewing the carpet in rage. And then, of course, you could see this reflected on television. Somebody like David Gergen, always connected to the various White Houses, saying, this cannot be allowed to stand, because if Mubarak can stand up to the U.S., then you've got a partial collapse, at least, of U.S. imperialism in the area that they have, for some reason, defined as the most important in the world.
And from 3 weeks ago, you have been proven correct. It's now admitted, and the White House, and they all admit that they basically funded the opposition groups and triggered this. And do you still follow the same line of reasoning that this is the first domino in a destabilization program? That's basically what Brzezinski and Herr Kissinger have said now.
That is what they hope it is. Now, this has now been another object lesson for those who have foolishly forgotten about the fate of the Shah and Marcos and so many others. They've now seen this again. So I think a lot of people are going to be mobilized. If you listen to the Soft Power Group, and this is not the neocons now, this is the Joseph Nye International Crisis Group, Soft Power, Subversive Destabilization Group. You can see this.
So Soros is involved. Soros is involved.
Soros is involved, right? That's the international.
So
crisis
Glenn Beck's
group.
right. Glenn Beck's right.
Oh, of course. Well, I don't know Glenn Beck. This is
no, but I mean Glenn Beck. I mean, he started saying that a week after you started saying it. And I'm glad he's getting the truth from this show. But the evidence is all right there.
Anyway, the International Crisis Group is money from Soros and the ideological direction from Brzezinski. They're all saying now on to Syria, on to Saudi Arabia, on to Iran, on to China, on to Russia. Why not? There's no limit to the attempts of these people. This is now going to be Obama's election campaign, is to say, I'm better than Bush, because Bush bogged you down in this tremendously expensive, catastrophic war, but I can overthrow countries simply using soft power.
Tarpley, you really are incredible. You really are incredible, because you did say here 3 years ago, during the middle of the Obama campaign, that he was going to use kamikaze puppets and that they were going to overthrow countries through popular color revolution rebellions George Soros funded. And that is exactly what they've been doing. So let's continue when we come back and break that down. Now, you did miscalculate a bit. You thought Mubarak might be able to hold on.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill, and I had high blood pressure, high blood sugar, poor vision, and I really wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess, pretty much.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract, and from within a few days, I started sleeping a lot better. My blood pressure normalized, my blood sugar normalized, and my sleep really did improve.
Experience these benefits and more when your body gets what it needs with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com.
Gold. It's like nothing else on Earth. From the Romans through the Renaissance, from the Industrial Age to the Space Age, gold has weathered the test of time. For 6,000 years, gold has remained the ultimate store of wealth. According to the World Gold Council and the U.S. Mint, demand is at an all-time high. The stage is being set for the reemergence of gold as the common-sense alternative to a fiat paper currency that gets weaker every day. Midas Resources is proud to offer the hard-hitting report that arms you with the truth you need to protect you and your family from the Fed's plans for your hard-earned money. Don't gamble with your future. Call Midas Resources today and ask for your free copy of As Good as Gold. Call 1-800-686-2237 for the report the Fed hopes you'll never see. As Good as Gold can be yours by calling 800-686-2237. If you have ever thought about owning gold, you must read this report. Call Midas today at 800-686-2237.
Skip the long lines and high prices at the florist, because right now at ProFlowers.com, you can get 2 dozen assorted roses with a free glass vase and a free box of chocolates for just $29.99. Just visit ProFlowers.com. Look for the radio microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 4444. Unlike overpriced flowers at the florist, which sit in the cooler for days, our flowers are sent fresh cut from the fields and are guaranteed to stay fresh and beautiful for at least 7 full days. Just visit ProFlowers.com today to get 2 dozen assorted roses with a free glass vase face and free chocolates for only $29.99. Order now and pick the delivery date you want. It's guaranteed. But hurry, because Valentine's Day is this Monday, and our special offer ends this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to visit proflowers.com. Look for the radio microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 4444.
Now, to be clear, the reason I bring Glenn Beck up is that we get a good indication of where the U.S. media is, starting about 2 weeks ago, about a week after Tarpley laid out the facts here, and others did. Beck came out and said, why are they trying to put the Muslim Brotherhood in? You know, they're radical Muslims that want to have war with Israel. Well, not really. They're British intelligence run, and that's on record. So he only goes so far. But the media attacked him, saying, how dare he support a dictator when he wasn't? And some of the media attacked yours truly, saying, look, even Jones, you know, is saying, don't kick Mubarak out. I didn't say that. I said the globalists triggered this. They admit they triggered it. George Soros is in there funding it. These are not nice people. They want to now overthrow all these puppet dictatorships. They even put out rumors yesterday that the king of Saudi Arabia had died. Looks like, was that true? I think it turned out that it wasn't. I mean, there's all these destabilization programs going on. The Muslim Brotherhood saying overthrow Jordan, overthrow Yemen, overthrow Saudi Arabia. China's trying to lock down all this news. This is the global strategy. What are they trying to get out of this, Webster?
Well, let's look at what has now happened in Egypt. You now have a military junta. This is now a military government. Part of the exit deal, whatever threats were made to Mubarak, you know, the imprisonment of his son or who knows what, he is now given power, not according to the Constitution, but to the military council. In other words, Mubarak's last deed was to shred the Constitution and delegate power, which I don't know how he can do it because he doesn't have such a power, at least in theory. It's now the military council. So it's a military junta that is now running the country. And this is now, it's a CIA military coup. These crowds that you see on television, I assure you, have absolutely nothing to do with what happened behind the scenes. This was pure great power threats exercised by the U.S. against Egypt. The difference between Iran and Egypt is that Iran is basically an enemy state from the U.S. point of view. They don't have that leverage, whereas with Egypt they have all kinds of leverage, starting with the food situation. Now, the purpose of this military junta, military dictatorship, because that's what you have, and it's an oligarchy, is to, I believe, roll back this refusal by Mubarak to enter into the U.S. nuclear umbrella. This proposal from the summer of 2009, where Obama came forward and said, we want to have Israel, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the Gulf states, and so forth, all under U.S. nuclear protection. And this amounts to assembling a war alliance, a military front of Sunni Arab states with the Israelis and the U.S. sticking into it, and play this all against Iran. Think of the Brzezinski parallels under Carter. This is just the first step, what we've just seen. This is now the creation of this military government. Where is this military government going to go? If it can't solve internal problems, which I doubt it can, if it stays under the IMF and the World Bank, then you're going to need some glory. Well, where are you going to get glory? Well, maybe you start picking fights with Iran over some issue, right? Think about how Brzezinski went from the Iran overthrow in 1978-79 to very quickly the destabilization of Afghanistan and then getting the Soviets into that. It ends in war. War is now closer. That is what these people have to understand. On NPR this morning, they're saying, oh, these wonderful demonstrators, they should get the Nobel